Hi, Yuri. It's Gianni Maiorano with CSC. Wanted to put together this brief video. Going to try to keep it to 20 minutes on an overview of CSC's brand protection and a little bit of a walkthrough through our dashboard and one of our platforms for protecting companies online. So CSC, we're the largest corporate domain names registrar in the world and provider of online brand protection. And very quickly wanted to demonstrate a little bit about our client base, a little bit about us, so that anybody that wants to learn more of how we can assist will have that information. So briefly, CSC, we work with the largest and smallest organizations in the world, and we are a truly global organization. As you can see here, we work with Global 2000s, Fortune 500s, and everything in between. We're headquartered here in Wilmington, Delaware, but as you'll see momentarily, we do have offices all over the globe and employees all over the globe as well. So your law firm, your client base will be right at home with CSC, and we do operate in 26 different languages, and we can analyze data in any recognizable language. So again, we do have offices and employees all over the globe. We're right here in Wilmington, Delaware. We have folks in North America, South America, lots of Europe and Asia and Australia. We operate 24/7. So for our clients, they can benefit from 24/7 incident response. That's a big part of any service. So if there's a brand issue, phishing issue that requires attention at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, or whatever time, your typical response to that is going to be, within 20 minutes, and then we can start taking action on that accordingly. Also, we have 24/7 customer service, but we do typically try to assign customer service folks in your time zone and in your area of business. Additionally, if you're needing coverage in other countries, like if you're working with global clients as well, we can accommodate that. Briefly, I want to cover a couple of the headlines here. We are a security-focused organization, as we talked about on the phone, right? So we work with the largest financial institutions, software institutions, technology, law firms, intellectual property organizations, so on and so forth. And we're also a stable organization, right? So we're not going anywhere. We've been here for well over 100 years, and here's to 100 more, hopefully. However, these partnerships where you're recommending our services to perhaps other folks in your law firm or your clients, you really want to make sure that that provider is going to be there the next day as well. To continue from a strategic advice standpoint, this is where we should be able to provide assistance right away. So if you have questions about new trademarks that are out, if you're going to be assisting clients with new brands, new brand launches, new places of doing business, all that will be very helpful. And then if there's changes to the internet, we provide that information to our clients on a larger scale, because we work with literally thousands of entities that handle this. We are a truly global organization. I've mentioned that more than a few times. So very comfortable that we can service you, your law firm, and your clients as well, regardless of where they are. And lastly is the managed services component. So this is where we're assisting with doing the heavy lifting for you and your clients, right? So some of our law firm partners, what they're doing is they're using CSC, passing that through to the clients, or those clients are referred to us directly with preferred pricing, discounted pricing due to that relationship. To continue, we're not going to focus on all these services. I really want to focus on this brand protection side of things today. So brand protection, the difference between brand and fraud protection is brand is passive. So if somebody registers a site and has it sitting there, or there's e-commerce listings on Mercado Libre or other global marketplaces or social media sites, those would all be considered brand abuse issues. So whether we're finding domain names, internet content, social media pages, e-commerce marketplace, so on and so forth, it's all there. It's all there. So this is something we handle at the expert level. A lot of the internet service providers are clients of CSCs as well. So this is something where, again, we have an expertise in this. We have folks all over the world that are specialists in either analyzing and enforcing, or both. So we can take things offline so that your clients are no longer being abused. And very quickly, all of our services are powered by the DomainSec engine. So this is something we had a press release several years ago, and we continue to work with trademark organizations, intellectual property organizations, cybersecurity entities, marketing entities, to really push forth and push forward the technologies needed to protect companies online. And all of our services are built around the DomainSec engine. So whether you're using our domain security monitoring, whether you're using our brand protection services and fraud protection services, DomainSec, as you can see, really brings it all together. And we also leverage various aspects of AI, whether it's for AI image matching or data analysis or collecting all of that information. We are able to leverage proprietary AI that we've developed over the last several years. And obviously, AI being a real focus for companies in the last year and a half or 2 years, CSC has been at it for a very long time. So we're happy to oblige. One of the services I really want to highlight is our 3D domain security monitoring. So this service allows you to find newly registered domain names. Okay, so folks are using domain names with like fuzzy matches, exact matches, looks like the domain name, sounds like the domain name, all that's going to be brought back. And it uses machine learning and AI to really interpret all the different threat levels around that. And then all of the data that we have then gets reviewed by an analyst team as well. So the technology does its thing, brings everything together, and then there's the risk scoring based on the artificial intelligence and machine learning. And then we have folks all over the globe taking a look at that for recourse. So what we're getting with the 3D domain security reports, for example, is the added re-registered domain names. So these are names that were then dropped and then re-registered. You're also seeing dropped domain names as well. So you're getting quite a bit of information in that, and then all of the metadata around that. So is it an abusive site? Is it pointing to fraudulent content? Is it malicious? Is it a phishing site? All that information gets brought back, and you get to see that all the information is brought back in the dashboard, which we'll be taking a quick peek at. It also gets brought back in the form of daily and monthly alerts. So here's an example of, I'll do this rather slowly here. Here's an example of the daily alert. Okay, and all this data is also in the platform. So you'll be able to see the added domain names, what registrar, associated metadata around that, the risk score behind it. So if it's something that we consider rather risky for one reason or another, re-registered and dropped domain names as well. So this is something that our clients use every single day to make decisions on what websites and URLs to enforce against. This model is used across all of our brand protection services. So if you're looking for e-commerce websites, for example, we are going and taking a look at Amazon, eBay, Mercado Libre, Taobao, Alibaba, almost 1,000 online marketplaces. CSC has the ability to monitor, analyze, and enforce against. Same with social media sites. And a lot of these companies are clients of CSCs. So like, for example, Alibaba is a client of CSCs. TikTok is a client of CSCs. Snap is a client of CSCs. And we have specialists for the meta set of platforms. And we're getting, in some instances, back-end pre-curated data sets from our partner organizations like Alibaba to assist with faster data collection, analysis, and enforcement. So that really helps speed things up for us. It helps our clients really get better data that can be actioned faster. It allows our analyst team to see more, which is a big problem of the industry, is simply not being able to see what's out there. We give the eyes and ears to the internet, and then we have the arrows in the quiver to facilitate effective takedowns. And some of the things that we're going to be finding, whether it's websites or social media sites, fake sites like these, where you have fake products being sold, fake bank accounts being accessed where credentials are being harvested or stolen. And all of that is being delivered with the DomainSec engine through the various platforms. So the last thing I want to jump to in terms of slides is our enforcement approach, right? So CSC, and this is a slide that often gets screenshotted, right? So this slide has our escalated enforcement approach. So as a reminder, CSC, we are the largest corporate domain names registrar and provider of brand protection globally. Now, what is that going to do for you? What that means is we have long-standing relationships with thousands of internet service providers, marketplaces, telecommunication companies, search engines, companies like Google, VeriSign, Amazon, Verizon, Newstar, well now Vercara. The list continues to go on and on and on. And you can see that through our publications, through our announcements. We just recently launched a partnership with Palo Alto. We're now plugged into the CrowdStrike platform. And this provides credibility in the industry because enforcement, while it sometimes can become a legal issue, is often a compliance issue. And CSC, we have substantiated takedown claims. We're a recognized name in the on the internet. And we're really, when we submit for takedown notices, they are often taken more seriously than an individual or our competitors or even attorneys. That's one of the things that we see all the time where we're helping out the law firm space. So again, if it's quick, easy wins, we can do those burn and churn. If it requires a little bit more muscle, sometimes things are a little bit more stubborn. While it's not common, it's common enough when you're dealing with the amount of brands that we're dealing with. And we escalate, and we can escalate to the highest levels of enforcement actions as well. So from here, I'm going to jump over to the platform to show a little bit about that. We're going to do a tour, nothing fancy, so it's going to be pretty straightforward. I want to be very clear. This is the same platform that the analyst team uses. So most of our clients, they use what's called the for client review section. I'm not sure if this demo has anything in that, but I'll be able to show that pretty clearly here. So let me wait for this to go up, and you should be able to see the dashboard. I'm going to clear up some real estate here. So the brand protection engine, again, powered by DomainSec. Up here, we have our different views. So I'm going to open this one up. So we have discovered domain names, we have internet content, we have misuse, redirect, misspellings, and everything in between, right? So if I click on one of these, you'll be able to see the entire universe of everything that's in here, right? What the analysts are going to be doing is putting things into this for client review section here. That's where most of our clients live. I don't think anything is in here. However, I can show you how that would work. So let's just say we're looking at some domain name results. So the analyst team would go into the raw data, and here we have benchmade.usa.shop, and this is for client review, and we want to make sure that the client gets eyes on this. If we have rules for engagement, Yuri, we can go after the abuse without your say-so. Like if you say, hey, we are never going to be on Mercado Libre, or if you see anything registered to GoDaddy or whatever it is, please take it down for your particular client. And we can use this for all of your clients. We can have separate instances for your different clients. So the analyst team can go through and start taking things down, but if they run on things that require your say-so, they're going to go ahead and put these things in for client review. And let's jump down to the e-commerce results as well, right? So if we go down to, this is where all the different, like I said, Amazon, eBay, so on and so forth. So if this is one that we know we can take down, we can select for takedown, or if it requires a little bit more evaluation, we can send it over for client review. Let's go and action these as well. So again, our clients, they go in here, and the first thing they're going to do is go to this for client review section. That's really where they stay because they want those pre-filtered, pre-scored results that have been looked at by the system and by an analyst. And then you would go through here, whether it's once a week, maybe once every other week, and action these results. And then we typically have monthly meetings as needed, right? Another pretty handy feature of the system that our clients use to really laser focus accounts is what's called clustering. So clustering here is a button right up here. This is something that the analysts use to get a graphical representation of correlations between the data, right? So this particular cluster has, let's take a look at this one here. So here we have this one Benchmade knife company has a YouTube channel, and it could be linked to a TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and we can actually focus in on this particular node. And when we close that out, it populates the data with that. Now, this is something that our analysts use because now they can stay laser focused on one particular bad actor and perhaps take an entire bulk takedown request with the same forms, the same type of reason. Oftentimes abusers will use the same type of abuse in multiple channels, right? So again, I know I'm going through this at a brisk pace. The reality of this is if we go into the platform, most of our clients, they go into the for client review section. There's tons of different ways to slice and dice the data. And it's rather user friendly. So if you need to, take little notes on things, you can. If you need to annotate, you can, and you can get a little case management almost out of this. If you tag things, you can report on the tags, search on the tags. There's lots of functionality in here. And again, it's using AI, machine learning to crawl the internet, bring data back, analyze that, and the analyst team then goes in and reviews. So the last thing that I wanted to show today is the 3D domain security monitoring, the DomainSec interface. So allow me to bring that up momentarily. I have to log in the same way anyone else would. And what you're going to see is all the different dashboards that and data that go along with this. And you're also going to see all the data that comes with it. Oh, I have to find my login here. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, allow me to share my screen again. Okay. Okay. So what you saw was in the domain sec platform. Okay, so this is the actual overall top end interface. Okay, so there's, depending on which services you have, we were looking at the brand protection. There's lots of different information that you can get here. So I'm going to jump over to the domain monitoring here because right now that's what we're focusing on: domain monitoring, brand protection. And in the domain monitoring, you'd get all, excuse me, in the 3D monitoring, you're getting all the different data around the domain name data sets that we discussed should you have this particular service. So you can see the timeline of when things were dropped, re-registered, and registered, right? The drop domain names really help because you're tracking to see who's lapsing what and when, and who's potentially picking that back up. Obviously, you want to take a look at the new registrations as well. You'll see a different word cloud, so you can see all the different extensions that people are finding more favor. .com is usually one of the primary ones, but we're seeing, depending on the client, .app, .shop, all these other extensions and TLDs that are out there. And these charts and graphs, are interactive, so there's lots of different ways you can slice and dice the data. And what our clients use this for is to get front end visibility into the kinds of abuses that are out there. So if we go down to the actual new registrations, for example, we're going to be able to see the domain name, what the string is, what the risk score is in terms of its potential abuse. If it's a high risk domain name, what it's a risk for, and if it has the ability to send email, if it has website content. All of this is available at the push of a button in the DomainSec platform. So again, I really want to put a bow on the conversation here. CSC, we are the largest corporate domain names registrar and provider of brand protection globally. We have quite literally 10,000 or more law firm clients. We work with thousands of brands. We work with thousands of brands to protect them online, to manage their domain names, to do their enforcement, to do their phishing. And these are the largest companies in the world. For example, 3 of the 4 largest credit card companies. We work with thousands of financial institutions. 8 of the 10 largest banks in North America work with CSC. We work with many Latin American organizations. I personally helped broker Best Day Travel was brought in. Expedia is also a client. We work with Latin American, European, Asian, North American clients all over the world. So there's quite a bit that we can do to assist with anybody that's looking to protect their company online, to find the information, to analyze it, and to take it down. I really hope you find this video helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks very much for your time and consideration.